Hi everyone, this is Ramalinga Prasad Kuppa. Welcome to my channel, Pharma World. Today's topic is process validation concepts as per 21 CFR section 820.75. Process validation concepts and principles were discussed in detail in earlier occasions. Now, let us compare the requirements as per different guidelines. Some prescriptions are implied and some are explicit. Of course, the overall strategies should be understood on similar principles. Let us see. Let us see the requirements of section 820.75, the process validation, where the results of a process cannot be fully verified by subsequent inspection and test. The process shall be validated with a high degree of assurance and approved according to established procedures. The validation activities and results, including the date and signature of the individuals approving the validation, and where appropriate, the major equipment validated shall be documented. 21 CFR 820.75 strategy is that the quality is not tested, it is built in the process. Verification or testing is only a part of it. So it clearly says that with a high degree of assurance to monitor the process to achieve the good quality of the product always. This is possible only through a well-established system comprising of several procedures, controls throughout the process. As an important step of GMP, it is necessary that the validation activities are performed following the Alcoa principles and the supplemental plus principles. This is a prescription under this section. Each manufacturer shall establish and maintain procedures for monitoring and control of process parameters for validated process to ensure that the specified requirements continue to be met. Section B says that there should be a well-knit system to ensure that the validated process is monitored on continuous basis to get the consistent good quality product always. So when once the validation exercise is established, the responsibility to maintain the valid status of the process becomes more important. It is a firm commitment by all the manufacturing people. Each manufacturer shall ensure that the validated processes are performed by qualified individuals. Point number 1 of subpart B says that qualified persons should be involved in the validation process. That means the team involving in validation activities must be trained, evaluated, and then qualified to perform the validation. So necessary documentation may have to be made to establish this requirement. For individual process, the monitoring and control methods and data and the date performed, and where appropriate, the individuals performing the process or the major equipment used shall be documented. Point number 2 should be understood that the details of critical process parameters, critical quality attributes at various stages of process, and the persons responsible must be documented. Date performed, establishes whether the activity is being carried out as per the ALCOA principles as discussed above. When changes or process deviation occur, the manufacturer shall review and evaluate the process and perform revalidation where appropriate. These activities shall be documented. Part C is important. If there are any deviations, it should be documented, investigated, subsequently reviewed and resolved. If it is a minor deviation that does not have impact on the output, it must be documented. If it is a major deviation with significant impact on the quality, it should be investigated deep into the causative factors, and if the final output is within the acceptance criteria, it may be accepted if adequate scientific investigation and subsequent CAPA is generated. Otherwise, it is necessary to revalidate. General thumb rule for validation is a minimum of 3 batches must be taken for validation. This number is a simple statistical requirement. A straight line is an indication of consistency. To understand easily this concept, a straight line can be drawn for any 2 points. This is not considered as consistency. If there is a straight line through 3 data points, it is necessary that all the 3 data points are on the same line. This is a simple way of understanding. Of course, there can be more than 3 data points, but all data points must be passing through the straight line to establish consistency. Schedule M, Part 1, Section 26, Validation and Process Validation. Validation studies shall be an essential part of good manufacturing practices and shall be conducted as per the predefined protocols. These shall include validation of processing, testing, and cleaning procedures. This is the prescription under section 26.1. Schedule M of Drugs and Cosmetics Rules 1945 prescribes a bit more information in addition to processing steps on cleaning and analytical method validations. A written report summarizing recorded results and conclusions shall be prepared, documented, and maintained. This is an obvious point. Unless the validation execution is not recorded and documented, it is not considered as done. This is a GMP known to all of us. Content of section 26.2 must be understood this way. Processes and procedures shall be established on the basis of validation study and undergo periodic revalidation to ensure that they remain capable of achieving the intended results. Critical processes shall be validated prospectively or retrospectively. This is the prescription under section 26.3. So 26.3 prescribes a condition for periodic revalidation. This requirement should be understood carefully. There is a provision to revalidate retrospectively. How do you revalidate retrospectively? Collect data from over 10 to 30 batches. Section 12.44 of ICH Q7 says, for retrospective validation for well-established processes that have been used without significant changes to API quality due to changes in raw materials, equipment, systems, facilities, or the production processes. The validation approach may be used where critical quality attributes and critical process parameters have been identified appropriate in-process acceptance criteria and controls have been established. There have not been significant process or product failures attributable to causes other than the operator error or equipment failures unrelated to equipment suitability, and impurity profiles have been established for existing API. So, in retrospective validation, you are establishing the validity of the process by data, no actual shop floor activity. Of course, this should be documented as done. This is yet another option for carrying out prospective validation. Section 12.42 of ICH-Q7 prescribes prospective validation performed on API process should be completed before the commercial distribution of the final product manufactured from that API. This is a shop floor activity. So, depending upon the statistical evaluation of data, it may be decided on any of these two types of validations. When any new master formula or method of preparation is adopted, steps shall be taken to demonstrate its suitability for routine processing. The defined process using the materials and equipment specified shall be demonstrated to yield a product consistently of the required quality. This is prescription under section 26.4. There is a flexibility in this section. When there is a new formula or method of preparation is changed using same equipment, its suitability should be established. This may be considered as a partial or limited validation. Significant changes to the manufacturing process, including any changes in equipment or materials that may affect product quality and or the reproducibility of the process, shall be validated. This is the prescription under section 26.5. So this section is important. Any major changes of equipment, processing steps, materials should be handled through a detailed validation. ICH Q7 section 12.1. The company's overall policy, intentions and approach to validations, including the validation of production processes, cleaning procedures, analytical methods, in-process control test procedures, computerized systems, and persons responsible for design, review, approval, and documentation of each validation phase should be documented. This is the prescription under section 12.10. So in this section, the scope is very elaborate. It starts with a policy on validations, including equipment qualifications, various options for various cases as discussed above must be captured in a policy document. This policy should transparently address all intentions and approaches on process validations. The policy should also consider the validation of computerized systems, if any, persons responsible for design of the process, and subsequent review and approval process. All these items should be documented clearly and comprehensively. 12.2 of ICH-Q7 is on validation documentation. This section prescribes that there should be detailed protocol and report for validation. 12.3 is on qualifications. This section prescribes that the equipment must be qualified and calibrated before starting the validation. 12.4 is on approaches to process validation. This section says various approaches on validations, including prospective, concurrent, and retrospective type. 12.5 is on process validation program. This point says on number of batches to be considered for prospective validation, concurrent validation, and retrospective validation. 12.6 is on periodic review of validated systems. In this section, the subsection 12.60 clearly says systems and processes should be periodically evaluated to verify that they are still operating in valid manner. Where no significant changes have been made to the system or process and a quality review confirms that the system or process is consistently producing material meeting its specifications, there is normally no need for re-evaluation. Cleaning validation under section 12.7. The requirements of cleaning validations are described in this section. Very detailed information is provided here. There should be a clear strategy for dedicated equipment cleaning and multi-purpose cleaning validations. 12.8 is on validation of analytical methods. So this section 12.8 says about validation of analytical methods. It is obvious that unless the analytical methods are validated, the process validation is considered incomplete. I hope this comparison of process validation requirements for various guidelines is useful. The basic information in all the guidelines is same, but the way of approach varies from one to the other. I hope you enjoyed it. Check whether or not all these requirements are met in your process validation program, master validation plans, policies as described in this video. Thanks for watching. For more videos, please do subscribe, like and share. Also, please leave a message in the comments box for any further support. Thank you.